guys, it's Rena, and today we're going to be doing FRQ 4, and today's special speaker. Hello, I'm Chelsea, I'm an AP Calc AB, and I'm happy to help. Alright. Alrighty, we're going to start with question 1, part A. We're going to do ABC for question 1 and 2, and then just the last part of question 3. So, let's start off with applying this question. So, in order to solve for a certain number, we have to find the x value. So, here we're going to do 4 equals log 3 of 2x minus 5. So, by applying the g of x to 4, or something for that, and we have to get rid of the log 3 somehow. So we're going to do 3 to the power of 4 equals 3 to the power of log 3 of 2x minus 5. And therefore these two are going to cancel out, and it's just going to give you 3 to the power of 4, which is, when you plug it into your calculator, the same thing as 81. And then that would equal 2x minus 5. And when you add 5 to both sides and then divide that by 2, you would get x equals 43. And then for h of x, you would be plugging pi over 4 into h of x. So you do pi over 4 equals inverse sine of 6x. And from there, you are going to do sine of both sides so that you can get rid of the inverse sign. So you do sine of pi over 4 equals sine times sine inverse of 6x, which is going to cancel out this, which is just going to get you sine pi of 4, pi over 4 equals 6x. And then from there, when you think about the unit circle, pi over 4, sine of pi over 4 is the same thing as root 2 over 2. And so you're going to do root 2 over 2 and divide all of that by 6 so that you can get x on the side by itself. And that would get you x equals root 2 over 12. So that is part A for you. And then from there, you're given j of x and k of x. And when you're thinking about rewriting into a single term, you think about those memorization things that you've been applying for a couple lessons. And you're going to start out by writing j of x equals tan square root of x. And when you think about 1 minus sine of x, that is the same thing as cosine squared of x. So, I'm going to write that in those parentheses there. And then, when you think about, again, the formulas, tan squared of x is also the same thing as sine squared of x over cosine squared of x. So, in order to get rid of cosines, you can turn tan to that. So it would be sine square root of x over cosine square root of x times cosine square root of x. And just to visualize, I'm going to put it over 1 so that you know when 1 is on bottom and 1 is on top, you can just cross it out. So it's just sine square root of x over 1. So our final answer, j of x equals sine square root of x, and obviously you'll notice that is just one term. And from there, we're going to do k of x, and let's see, you will be able to make the 3 of x and 2 of x combine by adding them together. So you do e5 of x, and then that can be over. So with the square root and the 6x, that would simplify into e to the power of 6x over 5. From there, you can bring, over 2, because with the 1/2. And you can bring that up, which this is the same thing as 3x. So it would be e5 of x minus e3 of x, because when it's a division, all you have to do is bring that up and it's subtraction. And that would get you e2 of x. Pretty simple. Okay, for part C, we are finding all the input values that can yield an output of 4. So, that yield on an output of 4. Yeah. So, we're going to start with 4 equals 2 cosine of 2x, and we're going to plus 3, and we're going to subtract 3 from both sides, so that would get you 1 equals 2 cosine of 2x. Divide that by 2, so you get 1/2 cosine, 1/2 equals cosine of 2x. And then you can do inverse cosine to get you the value that 1/2 would be in this situation. So cosine inverse of 1/2. And cosine inverse of cosine 2x. So again, when it's inverse and regular, that'll just cross out, and that'll get you cosine inverse of 1/2 equals 2x. And again, when you think about the unit circle, and think about cosine inverse of 1/2, that could get you pi over 3 or 5 pi over 3, which would equal 2x. So you divide that by 2, and that would get you final answer of x equals pi over 6 plus pi n, or x equals 5 pi over 6 plus pi n. And make sure to know that that is when n is an integer. There you go. All right, on to question 2. So for this one, it's the same process as part A before. So you're gonna solve for g of x, and you're gonna do subtract e from both sides. So that would get you, after we write this in, of course. So that would get you e equals e to the power of x minus 2. And then from there, we're going to do ln, which is the inverse, so it'll help it cross out again. So it'd be ln e equals ln e to the x minus 2. Crosses out, so this will just be 1, and this will be x minus 2. So your final answer will be x equals 3. Really terrible 3. You can tell I'm so good at writing on this iPad. And then from there, we're finding h of x when it's 2 pi. So it'll be 2 pi equals 3 cosine inverse, or arc cosine, they're interchangeable, of pi x. And from here, you're going to divide by 3 on both sides. So 2 pi over 3 equals cosine inverse of pi x. And then, again, we have to cross out the cosine inverse, so we're going to multiply both sides by cosine. So cosine of 2 pi over 3 equals cosine inverse pi of x. These will cross out, so it'll get you cosine of 2 pi over 3 equals cosine. Oh, so sorry. We'll get you pi of x, pi times x. And from there, you'll figure out that cosine pi over 2, I can't talk today, 2 pi over 3 will get you negative 1/2, and that you'll divide both sides by pi to get x on just one side. So your final answer will be negative 1/2 pi equals x. Perfect. Then part B. Rewrite j of x as a product involving cotangent x and cosine x and no other trig functions. So, again, back to the memorization formulas. We remember that cosine of x is the same thing as 1 over sine of x. So, you're going to do j of x equals 1 over sine of x minus sine of x. And then you can multiply both sides, or both parts, by sine of x. I'm adding it over 1 so that you can visualize the fraction part of it. And so you're going to do that, and that'll get you 1 over sine of x minus sine square root of x over sine of x, so that they have the same value on the bottom. And from there you can do 1 minus sine square root of x over sine of x, which, 1 minus sine square root of x is the same thing as cosine square root of x over sine of x, and cosine square root of x is the same thing as cosine times cosine, so you can simplify that to cotangent square root of x and 1 over sine cosine x. Boom. There you go. And part 2, you're going to do k of x equals ln 4x squared to the power of 2 minus ln 4x to the 4th 1/2. Just bringing it up, making it a little bit simpler. We brought this 2 from over here and this 1/2 from over here. So that would simplify to k of x equals ln 16x to the 4th minus ln square root of 4x to the 4th, which again simplifies to ln 16x to the 4th minus ln 2x squared. And when they're subtracting like this, you can just make them divided. Same process as we did in question 1. So it would be ln 16x to the 4th over 2x squared. And that'll get you, when simplified, k of x equals 8 ln 8x squared. There you go. Okay, part C. A lot of figuring stuff out again. Simplification. We have to know that it's an output of 0, so you plug that into m of x, so that equals sine of x to sine of x minus 1. And there's 2 parts for this one. So sine of x could equal 0. So we would do sine x equals 0, and then inverse that process to find the value. So it would be sine inverse of 0 equals x, which is just x equals 0 plus pi over n. And then for this part of the equation, we're doing 2 sine of x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides, and then divide by 2, so it'd be sine of x equals 1/2. And then do the inverse process again, so it'd be sine inverse of 1/2 equals x, which could be x equals pi over 6, or 5 pi over 6. And make sure to add that plus 2 pi. So our final answers will be x equals 0 plus pi n, and x equals pi over 6 plus 2 pi n, and our last one would be x equals 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi n. And And make sure again to know where n is an integer. Okay, here's your final answer. And then for this one, I feel that the hardest part is C because there's so many steps that go into it. So we're just going to be doing C again for this part. So we're going to do the same process as before, and when it is an output value of 0, so you plug that into m of x. So 0 equals 2e2x minus e to the square root of x, and you're going to simplify that so that it's 0 equals ex, then 2 to the ex minus 1, and then you're going to again split that into two parts so that ex equals 0, and that does not exist. And then on the other side, 2ex minus 1 equals 0. And you're going to add 1 to both sides, so again divide by 2. So ex equals 1/2. And you're going to have to get rid of the e so that we can get x by itself. Bring that on over here. So you do ln e to the x equals ln 1/2, and your final answer when those cross out is x equals ln 1/2. Alrighty.